and money is the fruit that they speak. So tell me whose face do they see? Repeat, take offense, judge by the fruit from the tree. But if the fruit tastes like the streets, and money is the fruit that they seek.
Welcome back, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You tap back into the Fixx, your source of faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. And it's time for our spiritual detox. And when I tell you, let's be very clear, I've been waiting to get this man in the studio and just get him, man, connected, because he's been blessing my life. Let's be very clear. I got familiar with a brother, Tobe Nwigwe, about 5 years ago. And when Tobe, the beautiful thing I love about Tobe and his wife, they allow for their team to shine too as well. And when I saw this man doing his thing in concert, I was like, oh no, he's going to be a star. He's going to be a hit. So I couldn't wait for him to drop his own music and come out. So listen, without further ado, help me welcome in the Velvet Voice himself, David Michael Wyatt. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me here, man. It's really an honor and a privilege to be sitting in this room, in this space with you, man. And thank you for rocking with the music and being a fan and connected to it. I appreciate that.
Man, that prosper. I told you, you was going to make somebody lay at the altar, man. Just listen, I love when, like I said, I saw Tobe twice in concert, and both times when that song performed, he get out your way and he let you just do your thing. So that's why I say I want to salute him, because a lot of artists don't do that. And you kind of shine a little bit more in that song than everybody else. Listen, Tobe, I can't wait to interview you. I'm not, no shots at you. I'm just telling you the anointing that came out of the velvet voice of yours. It touched me, man. So I just got to speak to that.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Number one, about my brother Tobe. Shout out to him for sure. For recognizing the space for the anointing and knowing what it is, knowing what the song kind of do to the room, and to people and to the listeners that are listening to it. Like that's beautiful to me, that he allows us to just be conduits of this gift that we have.
Absolutely. So talk a little bit about your faith journey, man. For the people who may not know you, man, share a little bit of your faith story with the people.
Man, 100%. So of course I grew up in church. I'm a church kid. I loved going to church. What attracted me to the church, of course, was the choir. I loved just being on the front row, listening to music. Story is, real quick, my mom used to tell me that I would tip off. So the church was down the street from my house. So I would just walk. My mom, she gonna shoot me for saying this.
We love you, mama.
Right, we love you, mama. But she would be coming in from the club. So she ain't trying to get up to go to church as early as I'm trying to get up to go to church, because I'm trying to hear the choir at the top of the service. So I would walk myself to church down the street, and I'd just be sitting on the front row, she said, waiting, and she tipping in the back. So I've been in church for a long time, man, all my life. But the ironic thing is, my first solo was not in church. My first solo was at my preschool graduation.
Really?
Yeah. It was at my preschool graduation. I was singing on the swings, the teacher said. Sent a note home to my mom and said, this man can sing, or this boy can sing. I ended up singing in the preschool graduation, and from there it just kind of popped off.
So from what, 4 to 5 years old, you've been doing this, you've been blessing people.
Yeah.
Where do you think that come from? Because like you said, you walking down and going to church on your own. Did God touch you and kind of give you a sense of this is what your call was that early?
I can't say that this is what my call is, but I knew that I was attracted and drawn to something.
Okay.
So without a shadow of a doubt, I know that it was God protecting, shielding, forming, and directing my life to get me to the place and the space that I'm in right now. What's crazy is, so my journey, so in getting into church, I thought that gospel music was going to be my main directive. Like that's what I was going to be doing. I was going to be the next Donnie McClurkin out here. You hear me? So when God started shifting my life, when I went off to college and I started watching my gift work outside of the four walls of the church, that's when I was able to see the grace, the gift that he had put on my life. And that's where the whole velvet voice and all that kind of stuff came from.
Talk about that a little bit more. You being able to be in those different spaces, not just the church settings and the gospel events. You've been being able to tour and be involved with a lot of different artists. How do you incorporate your faith when you have conversations with some artists who maybe just are mainstream artists that maybe reach out to you and want to talk to you? Man,
and it happens. It happens all the time. So for me, my biggest thing is knowing my moral compass, knowing the things that I just won't do. There's lines I just would not cross. So for me, being able to be a light in dark spaces is important to me. We were just talking earlier today how the church, we in the church, and I'm not knocking the church by any means. I love church, still go to church. But I started realizing seasoning on top of seasoning ain't doing nothing. It's just making more seasoning. You know what I'm saying? So I knew, and I started to understand that the seasoning that God placed on my life was to be sprinkled on some bland people. So I needed to go kind of sprinkle that seasoning, and I started seeing it work. when in outside of like I said, outside of the four walls of the church, I started seeing it work, man. And once I started seeing it work, I knew like this is direction.
What do we need to change then? Because I love the fact that you said season on top of seasoning ain't gonna do nothing. What do you think the church needs to get better at when you talk about being able to reach, spread the gospel, build relationships?
Ooh, that's a big question, bro. All right, we probably about to. All right, so I think the church needs to be better at number one, not elevating those who are not ready. Number two, trust that greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. Now that's why I feel like the Lord had to take me the way of church, because I had to get a firm foundation. That does not make me perfect by any means, but I'm always able to go back to that foundation and understand this is who I am. This is who God called me to be. This is who I'm supposed to be, even in the midst of everybody else that's doing whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, and live however they want to live. I'm still supposed to be a light to them. So I think that's what it kind of boils down to me, man.
Wow, that's a lot, and I do agree too as well. So speak for somebody who does not know your style. Speak to your musical style and what you try to deliver when you do your music.
Man, so my style is definitely, I guess that's where the velvet comes in. It's smooth.
It is smooth.
But I think underneath all of that, I know that the call and the grace on my life is my voice, the gift that God has given me is a vehicle that opens the door and provides an atmosphere and a space for people to receive healing, direction. If I was in church, I would just say a space for the presence of God, outside of the four walls of the church. So that's really what I'm out here for.
That's good. I think, you're doing something different.
Yeah.
And I think it's needed. So talk about just you being able to be freely who you are as an artist and how you express that in your music, your solo music by yourself.
Yeah. So shout out again to my brother Tobe, like who provided and God used to provide a platform for me to kind of just really freely express myself and the artist that I feel like God has called me to be. So right now I have a record that's out called The Reprise. Mm-hmm. And basically The Reprise is a collaboration of songs between Tobe and I that we did, and I just turned them into R&B songs.
Yeah, you did.
I turned his rap songs into R&B songs. Is really kind of what happened with it. But it's been very, people have been showing major love to it. Thank you to everybody that's been doing that. But it just really allowed my voice to kind of shine and the message to kind of shine. So I think that's what it is. I love a bop. I love hype. I love hip hop. But at the end of the day, like my sweet spot is if you give me and a guitar and a microphone, bruh, we about to turn it up. We about to turn it up.
No, you definitely turn it up. Why do you think gospel has not received like the music that you do? Because I really feel, no, seriously, and we talk about the pandemic and we know that we're pretty much past it, but we saw a lot of kingdom marriages crumble during the pandemic. Right. And I would argue it's because of music selections and you being in a space where you can make, absolutely, it's got that R&B touch, but I still would say it's faith infused. It's not over sexualized.
100%.
So why are people not embracing like your sound?
Bruh, this I don't know. Like I feel like my answer to it is probably opinionated. All right. But I do believe that in gospel music, the gatekeepers have stood at the gate for way too long. And they have not allowed the space for the younger generations to flex their gifts and to be free in their creativity with their direction. Like with their direction, I feel like if that was the case, then it wouldn't have taken people like the Jonathan McReynolds this long to kind of surface to the top. So I think it's trying to change and the guards are changing. So I think it's looking promising to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think, and in the space of social media, I also feel like it's popped the top too. Like you can hear anybody, anywhere, at any time in the space of social media. They may not be as popular as a Jonathan McReynolds or anything like that, but they do exist. Mm-hmm. Like those people, what's my boy name? He's out of Atlanta. Dang.
Mali Music?
Like a Molly. Okay.
Out of Atlanta.
I was going to say J. Cole, but it's not J. Cole. Shoot, I can't think of my boy's name, but he just put out a record called Christian R&B or something like that.
Okay.
And he's kind of like trying to bend that. Jordan Armstrong,
Jordan.
that's him.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jordan Armstrong. So he's trying to like
girls like R&B music.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's my dude. Shouts out to Jordan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he's trying to bend that curve. You know what I'm saying? And I think if they will allow him to be who he is and embrace him as gatekeepers and leaders, then I think it'll be good.
Well, it's funny you brought him up because he actually did get his opportunity last year, the 37th annual Stellar Awards. He performed his song "The Call" with Erica Campbell.
Yes.
So I think they are starting to notice it. But yes, and I'm constantly fighting. For the most part, we do Christian hip hop here, so they constantly trying to keep us behind. But we're praying for y'all. All y'all listen to it. We still love y'all. We still part of the church.
100%.
We in the congregation every Sunday with y'all, praying and all that good stuff too. So don't forget about the people who love hip hop.
Yeah.
So no, it's funny. I say that being funny, but it's a serious matter. Yeah, I kind of answered it, but I want to ask. When you talk about your style, and you brought up Jordan Armstrong and just more of the R&B, sonically, where do you think we line up compared to the mainstream? Ooh. Because I think that's a question that we're always questioning. Okay, is it sonically good enough to be put up against the Little Babies, the Dirks in mainstream? Especially because I know Tobe's music has been, and you've been a part of that. So speak to that dynamic of sonically, what do you think gospel music is compared to mainstream?
Oh, man. Sheesh. The answer to the question is yes. Sonically, I do think that there are some people that can stand up there.
Okay.
I don't think that they have the same resources.
We don't.
I definitely don't. We definitely don't have the same support.
Right. The bag. You can say
there we go.
We ain't got millions of dollars behind shooting these videos,
which plays part to our quality. So once you get into that, then it's kind of like, oh yeah, you cute, you gospel. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, it's really you cute, you mainstream, my guy. You know what I'm saying? But so I do. The answer to the question is absolutely yes. I do believe that there are some people that can stand toe to toe with him.
What's your take on I don't know if you're familiar with Dante Bowe from used to be with Maverick City. He just did the new song. No, come on, I got to talk about it because it's more of the wind up song is more of an R&B song. Let's be very clear. It's not a gospel song. So what's your take on it? I know a lot of people. He's been scrutinized a lot. So what's your thoughts?
So in all honesty, I've only heard the Instagram snippets of the song.
Okay.
So I have not heard the record.
Okay.
But I support. I rock with Dante. Okay, I don't know him personally at all. But I do. I rock with what he's doing.
Okay.
And honestly, if I'm honest about it, I feel like this is what's been in his heart to do the whole time.
Got you. So it's just more, Maverick City was the intro.
It's just I don't want to say that it was an intro type thing. It was just a journey. It was the process. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to go through these things to get to this space, and in this space he can authentically be who he is, and that always wins.
So are we when you talk about guarding our artists, do you think the church and people of the faith are guarding him too much and not letting him freely be who he wants to be?
I can't say that it's the church because it could be him. You know what I'm saying? It could be whatever he believe or it could be his own personal things. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Because what God has for you is for you, period. Like nobody can stop that. So I can't say that it's the church that did it or it was Maverick City that did it, but he is who he is and he is where he is now. Gotcha. So that's what we see. That's what I know. That's what I can speak to. The fact that I feel like this is a good space for him.
What's next for you?
We're working on a record.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're working on a record right now. We just started actually top of this week.
Okay.
So we are trying to get it out. I don't want to put a date on it, but we do want to get it out by the end of the year.
Okay.
So yeah, stay connected and stay with us. We active right now.
Any collaborations that you're working with, or is this all just you? Come on, drop that. Come on, drop that. Oh, drop the mic and get out of here.
I'm working on some collabs. Let's put it like that. I'm working on them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to get them.
Will we be surprised by some of these collabs, or is it like we should expect? Because like we expect if Tobe is on something.
Right.
We expect that. So like,
I think maybe if
maybe a Molly, maybe a Jonathan McReynolds.
If you follow the journey, you might know. I don't know. I don't know if you're surprised or not.
Okay.
I don't know.
Listen, David, we appreciate you rocking with us, man. Please
Absolutely,
tell the people
bro.
how they can follow you on all your social media platforms, as well as please introduce one of your singles.
Yeah, 100%, man. Thank you so much for this opportunity, bro. It's a pleasure. I appreciate what you're doing. But anybody, you can find me on social media, David Michael Wyatt. That's DavidMichaelWyatt. That's all my social media handles across the board. And let's listen to what y'all want to. Let's pull up. Hey, we might as well do it since we talked about it. Let's prosper.
Keep it locked. You're tuned into The Fixx. You know The Fixx is in.
The fruit that they speak, so tell me whose face do they see? Repeat, take offense, judge by the fruit from the tree. But if the fruit tastes like the streets, and money is the fruit that they seek, so tell me whose face do they seek? The Fixx is in.